Police know whether Chantel Brooks got into her own car that night. They won't say. It happened on July 17th in Fairfield, California. A camera caught her walking across a parking lot toward a black SUV at 1:45 in the morning. That's the last confirmed image of her that exists. Investigators have had that footage for over a month. They haven't told the public what happens in the frames after it, only that, more than 5 weeks later, they now believe someone did something to her. Her car surfaced once more after that, on a different camera, in a different city, more than 10 miles away. Chantel wasn't in it. Nobody has said who was. Her family calls her Cece. Chantel Brooks is 36, from Fairfield, California, and by every account from the people closest to her, she was the one who checked in, not the one who went quiet. Her brothers, Calvin and Kevin Robinson, describe her as outgoing, funny, and someone who kept tabs on the people she loved, not the other way around. Calvin has said publicly that Chantel is a beautiful person with a beautiful spirit and a really big heart. She worked overnight shifts as a desk clerk at a hotel in San Francisco's Tenderloin district, then commuted back to Fairfield afterward, a routine her family says she kept like clockwork. That's why the silence registered so fast. Her brothers realized they could no longer see her location on their phones. Her social media, usually active, stopped completely. No calls, no texts, nothing that fit who she was. One brother put it simply, her going dark wasn't a maybe. It was a red flag the moment it happened. So before anyone even knew what they were looking at, her family already knew one thing for certain. This wasn't Chantel choosing to disappear. Something had happened to her. What remained was finding out what. Here's what the timeline actually shows, and where it stops. At 12:20 in the morning on July 17th, 2026, surveillance cameras recorded Chantel leaving her shift. She was alone, in a brown multicolored brimmed hat, a red zip-up hoodie, gray sweatpants, and brown furry boots, heading, it appears, back toward Fairfield. An hour and 25 minutes later, at 1:45 in the morning, a different camera, 45 miles away, picked her up again. Same clothes. A CVS parking lot in Fairfield, walking toward her black 2021 Infiniti QX50, license plate 9SBB134. That's the footage. That's all of it that's been made public. Police haven't said whether she got into that vehicle. They haven't described anything in the footage after that point. For 5 weeks, that has been the entire confirmed record of Chantel Brooks' final movements. A woman walking toward her car, and then silence. What we do know is that the SUV itself resurfaced, once, on an automated license plate camera in Oakland, more than 10 miles from where she was last seen. That kind of camera records a location and a timestamp. Nothing else. No driver. No explanation for how the car got there, or when. One camera puts Chantel at her car. Another puts the car somewhere she's never been reported to have gone. Between those two frames sits a gap nobody in this case has closed. While police built their case behind the scenes, Chantel's family went looking themselves. According to Lieutenant Kelly Rombach, Fairfield Police have served dozens of search warrants, run coordinated ground searches with state search and rescue teams, and flown extensive aerial drone grids, all while working directly with the Solano County District Attorney's Office. But for the first several weeks, almost none of that was visible to the public. What was visible was Chantel's family, doing the work themselves. Her niece, Michelle Robinson, walked block by block through San Francisco's Mission District, posting flyers with her aunt's face on them. Calvin and Kevin canvassed Fairfield, Oakland, and beyond, going door to door, pulling security footage from businesses along the route on their own, trying to build the very timeline police wouldn't confirm. On August 2nd, more than 2 weeks in, they held a candlelight vigil in San Francisco. Yellow candles, yellow balloons, the color used for a hoped-for safe return. Within days, they were back on the street. For nearly a month. That's what this case was, an investigation working quietly in the background, and a family running its own search out loud, in public, because no one had told them anything else to do. Then, on August 18th, that changed. 5 weeks after Chantel vanished, Fairfield Police said something they hadn't said before. Lieutenant Kelly Rombach told ABC News directly, "Based on what we have learned during the investigation, we believe Chantel's disappearance involved foul play." Read that again. Not, "we're concerned." Not, "we haven't ruled anything out." Investigators use the term foul play when the evidence has moved them away from the idea that someone left on their own. When they believe someone else's actions are behind what happened. That's a specific, deliberate word choice, and Fairfield Police put it on the record. It doesn't name a suspect. No one has been arrested. No one has been charged. Rombach was clear that the investigation will remain active, and that the department is committed to providing answers to her family and our community. This isn't a confession, and it isn't a solved case. It's police confirming, for the first time, that Chantel Brooks did not choose this. In that same window, police confirmed the detail about the Oakland camera, the SUV, the single hit, and nothing since. Which means the department's own language and the department's own evidence are now pointing in the same direction. Something happened to Chantel Brooks between that parking lot and that camera in Oakland, and for 5 weeks, the public had no idea investigators believed that. At this point, the question isn't simply where Chantel went after that parking lot, it's what happened in the hour and a half before that, and in whatever hours came after her car was caught on that Oakland camera. If there's one detail in this timeline that stands out to you as the piece that doesn't fit, based only on what's confirmed here, tell me what it is. Even with a foul play statement on the record, the gaps that actually matter are still open. The Oakland camera tells us where the SUV was at one single moment. It doesn't tell us who was driving it. That's a different question than where the car went, and nobody has answered it publicly. Was Chantel behind the wheel when that camera caught it, or had the vehicle already changed hands? There's been no public update on forensic evidence, not from the vehicle, not from the CVS location, not from Chantel's phone. Investigators may have a digital trail well beyond the point her location stopped updating for her family. If they do, none of it has been shared, and police still haven't said what, specifically, moved them from an open missing persons case to a foul play investigation. Something in those search warrants changed their read on this case entirely. What that something is has never been made public. Investigators almost certainly know more than this. The public doesn't. That's the entire reason this case is still unresolved on camera, even as it moves forward behind closed doors. It was that August 18th statement that pushed this case past the Bay Area and onto national outlets for the first time, 5 weeks after Chantel disappeared, and only after police confirmed, on the record, that they no longer believed she'd left on her own. As of the most recent statements from Fairfield Police, Chantel Brooks is still missing. The search effort described earlier, the warrants, the ground searches, the drone flights, the work with the district attorney's office hasn't stopped. No arrest, no named suspect, no recovered vehicle, just a department that has publicly changed how it's describing this case, without yet telling the public why. There's no publicly confirmed reward in this case right now. If that changes, it will come from the Fairfield Police Department, or the family directly, not from anything circulating online. Here's what's actually true, stripped of everything else. A woman finished a shift just after midnight, was caught on camera walking toward her own car less than 2 hours later, and hasn't been reliably seen or heard from since. Police now believe, on the record, that someone is responsible for that. Her family has spent 5 weeks searching for her anyway, because nobody has told them to stop, and nobody has told them why they had to start. If you know anything about what happened to Chantel Brooks after she reached that parking lot, the Fairfield Police Department needs to hear it. Call 707-428-7300, submit an anonymous tip at 707-428-7600, or email the case directly, referencing case number 2672208. Don't investigate this yourself, and don't approach anyone you think might be connected to it. Get it to investigators. That's the one thing that actually moves this case forward. Chantel Brooks has been missing for over 5 weeks. Police believe someone made sure of that, and right now, they still won't say who.